Dang.
Finally.
Hey man, my apologies on that. My
All good.
headphones back in. Yeah, I gotta go out to Orlando. I'm about 2 hours from there. So I mean record it back and just get you going. So just finish where you started at, where you lasted off at.
Start it all over again or just
Now where you was talking about when I was saying something you haven't shared in the interview in such a long time? Or
Yeah.
you haven't shared at all? You say you've never shared this on the interview before?
Yeah, I haven't.
All right. So for one, you go.
Okay. Are we on?
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I've never shared on an interview before is that in my last year of high school, my mother got sick of cancer, and as a result of that, we had a lot of unexpected medical expenses, and with one salary, we weren't able to afford all her treatments. So my uncle, who's a doctor, had to help us financially. And at the same time, I was in my last year of high school. I had to study for the Pan-Hellenic exams, which is inherently a very stressful process because the way it works is you go to school every morning from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's the public education, but it does not suffice to prepare you for the Pan-Hellenic exams. We have a very weird, very odd system. So you have to take private classes in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Basically, the whole day you're in school studying. And when you go back home, you have to do your homework. So all your day you're sitting on a desk in front of a book just studying for something in order to get ready for those exams, because those are the exams that for us in Greece determine the rest of our lives. So I was going through that process for a year. At the same time, my mother got sick of cancer. And of course, those private classes aren't free. You have to pay them. Very, very weird, unfair system here in Greece. And we had the expenses for my classes, which were more than my mother's salary. So we couldn't pay for them, and we were on a debt for that. And then on top of that, we have my mother sick of cancer, her treatments, my uncle chiming in, and then I had all the burden of performance. I had to prove that all the investment that was put into me in terms of those private classes for the Pan-Hellenic exams preparation was worth it. I had to get results, and it was a very stressful period for me. And I actually didn't get the results I was seeking. My goal was to get access to study medicine, but I scored a little bit lower and got into chemical engineering. It was a very disappointing moment of my life, and I felt like everybody was judging me for it. Even though my mother eventually was cured and was all right, I felt like I was looked at my own family for my performance during that year.
Absolutely, man. I think that's a very deep moment, man, because that's something people don't see, you know, that's something that people don't hear about. And I can relate because I was, 5 when my mom passed away from cancer, and I think that, that she's in a better place. But to hear your story and you to share that and to hear that your mom is cured, man, I think that's amazing because God works in mysterious ways, so like that. So I thank you really for sharing that, man, and just sharing your journey today, honestly, man. And I just wanted you to really just leave some words off, and I'm gonna ask my one last question, and then we can get out of here, man.
All right.
So you, cool. I wanted you to leave some words off for like our listeners. Yeah.
Oh, question. Okay.
Hey, no, you good.
So the main thing I would like to say is that no matter what situation you're in your life right now, there are decisions you can make to change that around, no matter how dire the situation seems, no matter how hard it is. And the hardest thing actually is to not give in the seemingly easy choice, to not take the path of least resistance. Because when I took that job as a bartender many years ago, I was lucky to be fired on the first day, because had I kept that job that summer, I would not have persevered in my business. I would not have gotten any results. I would just have given up on it. And I would still be in university right now studying and probably working that job or some other job at the same time to make ends meet. And I would have done really nothing with my life. I would still be in square zero. And that would be the price for taking the path of least resistance. So I'm very grateful that my boss back then fired me.
Yeah, indeed,
It was a blessing
absolutely.
in disguise.
Yeah, indeed. And when it's all said and done, what does Damien want to be mostly remembered for?
Honestly, it's something I haven't really thought about because I'm at an age right now which is that you don't really think about legacy. Perhaps I'm still not mature enough to be thinking about these things, but it just hasn't crossed my mind yet, you know? Usually, what you want to be reminded of, legacy and those things, you start contemplating about those musings after you're 50 or 60. I don't know. For me, it hasn't yet really crossed my mind.
Indeed, it's interesting that you said 50 and 60 because I was watching an interview with you and Grant Cardone, but I also read up on it too. I was listening to an interview with him and someone else, and he was sharing that it wasn't until his 40s is when he really started to see the real success in his life. So I think that's amazing, you know, or so that you just shared that. Dame, if you could lead the people off with your social media, your websites, any exciting projects you got coming up, and anything else any way else they can connect with you, man. Feel free to.
Yeah, I'm on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, at Damian Prosa. You can follow me on there, connect with me. Feel welcome to send me a message. Tell me you came from the podcast. I would love to speak with you guys. And I would like to thank you, Rel, for having me on. It's been a pleasure. And I would really like to meet you when I'm back in the States.
Absolutely, man. We got to make it happen. Hey, people, I thank you all for really, really tuning into this interview today. Most importantly, man, thank you, Dane, for really being a part of here, man, and being a part of the Inspire Before We Expire community now, man. People, if you haven't already, subscribe, you know, on iTunes at the Inspire Before We Expire podcast. Leave us a review. That helps us with a greater reach on many other individuals who may be just going through something in life, man, maybe facing some hardships, some financial troubles, some personal, maybe going through mental illness, may just lost their job, or whatever it may be, maybe lost a family member, a friend to the streets, or maybe to an illness. There's a lot going on, man. And I pray, I want to take a moment of silence or two for those who around the world facing this COVID-19 right now, man. I want to take just a minute. And I just pray for pray for their healing, man, and everything of that nature, and for them to get through what they're going through, man. Or so like that is it's tough, and we all just gotta really get through it, you know, by sharing this message and connecting with like-minded individuals like Damon Prosa himself, and you know, really most importantly, just staying prayed up, guys, and keeping the faith most importantly, honestly. So we thank you all for your time. Damien Prosa, thank you so much for your time. Shout out from Greece. You know, and until next time, people. So we thank you all. Follow my guy, support his mission, and stay tuned for incredible projects he has coming up. There's more. He come from humble beginnings. So salute to him. Let's give our people their roses while they're here. This is the Inspire Before We Expire. I'm Terrell Sumter. That's my guy, Damon Prosa. This is an Inspire Before We Expire, and we're out. Woo! My man.